Good evening. There is a mitzvah in the Torah which is called Bikurim, which is the land of Israel was blessed with 7 kinds of fruits, such as wheat, barley, grapes, pomegranate, dates, and so on. And so the Torah says when these 7 kinds grow, the first ripened fruit you have to bring to God, to the Holy Temple, to the Beit HaMikdash. And indeed, in the holiday of Shavuot, which is the harvest season, when the Jewish people would make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, to the Holy Temple, they would bring big baskets of the first ripened fruit to the Holy Temple. What do we do with the fruit after we bring it to the temple? Says the Torah, this week's Torah portion of Naso, that you should give it to the Kohen. But this sounds very strange. You know, in the Torah, we have many forms of gifts and charities that we give to the Kohenites, to the Levites, to the poor people. But any form of charity that we are commanded to give, we give it directly to the person. Why is the mitzvah of Bikurim, of the first ripened fruit, that we have to give to the Kohen, why do we first have to bring it to the house of God, Beit Hashem Elokecha, and do a whole ceremony, and only then you give it to the Kohen? What's the purpose? So the Rebbe gives a beautiful insight into this mitzvah. And he says that the Torah is teaching us the true Jewish perspective of charity. You know, when we give charity, for many it's not easy. It's our hard-earned money, blood and sweat. And it's not easy to give. And then we begin to make all different kinds of calculations. Why should I give it to the poor man? Let me give it to a place where I can get honor. The ego gets involved. So the Torah is telling us that Bikurim, which means your hard-earned money, the first ripened fruit, you first have to bring it to the house of God. Why? Because it belongs to God. The message of the Torah is that the money of charity doesn't belong to me. It belongs to God. And therefore, when we are permeated with this Torah concept, that the charity money is God's money, it's not my money, except God's given me the merit that I'm the giver. But in essence, it's God's money. If we know this truth, it will be much easier for us to give tzedakah, to give charity, and without having our evil inclination and ego involved, because it's not mine to begin with. It's God's money. That's the reason why we first have to bring it to the Holy Temple. And in the wording of the Torah, it says, Beit Hashem Elokecha, to the house of God. And you do a whole blessing because it's God's money, and then you give it to the Kohen. All the best, and have a wonderful Shabbat.